The story begins in a dark forest where a knight is struggling to get up. As he can't feel any response from his legs, one of his team member comes running towards him fearing something. All the members are dead due to the monster which is chasing him. He says all of them were high-level players and how could they can be killed so easily. Knight gets hit by needles on his head and with an explosion he is burned to death. Frightened by this sight, Knight pulls his sword and wants to know who is this monster. Now we are shown the past of our protagonist. In Demon Lord's castle, knights are fighting with monster and Demon Lord. But our hero Damien has taken serious damage, who is at 900 level. All his stats are decreased due to the damage he received. He is sure he can't be healed at this moment, not even with the help of high-level saint. King Arthur, who is Demon King expedition leader, shows in front of him. King Arthur is the one who betrayed our hero and responsible for this situation. Despite being injured, he tries to attack him but receives lightning from Arthur. He is still holding his ground and want to know why he betrayed him, but the Demon Lord Abraxas raises his mana to attack Arthur and uses his skill 7th demonic Dao style. But Arthur uses his ultimate and with a huge explosion he kills the Demon Lord. Our hero is always impressed by his ultimate skill no matter how many times he sees. Arthur attacks him again, saying all the humans have their own position. A loser should behave like loser, a garbage should act like garbage, and lower class should live like lower class. But a loser like him became a hero. This is a serious error and he is not happy with it. Our hero is wondering where the things went wrong while losing his life. About 10 years ago, first ever virtual reality game Arceus Chronicles, also known as AC, was launched. The game pulled the public with its lifelike graphic and lively NPCs. Reward for clearing the quest of Demon King was special. It will provide the ability to establish the kingdom and became the hero of the game. Many players puts all in this game and our hero was one of them. Jinsung also puts all his life in this game and many people tries to discourage him, but he continues. This game was his life and needed the reward to make up his ruined life. That's when he met King Arthur. He was the servant of goddess Arya and possess infinite circle which gives him infinite supply of mana. He led the expedition with his personality and thanks to him they were able to reach the dungeon of Demon King's castle. Our hero was so close to obtain reward, but in the end he was betrayed by him after defeating the Demon King's army. He was planning this from the start to kill the hero and didn't like him from the beginning. Because of this traitor he is going to die a pathetic death, but before his final moment he hears a voice saying he knows how he feels. It is the voice of Demon Lord Abraxas who offers him the chance to avenge this and wants to continue the evil deeds and eventually kill the goddess of light Arya. Abraxas appoint him as Avenger Damien, and after this he received the finishing blow from Arthur. He suddenly wakes up in his room not sure what is happening with him. He is not sure how he ended up in his room and his brother Ma Jinhoon arrives to wake him up. He should be in the military right now, but why he is wearing the school uniform? He is going crazy with all of this events and he notices the date which is same when Arceus Chronicle game was released its first beta version. Processing all this information leads him to one conclusion, that he was back in the past. Now he becomes very emotional to have home-cooked meal. Definitely mom's meal is the best in the world. It reminds him the days of his childhood. Back then mom was healthy. While eating he sees the announcement of Arceus Chronicle. A game which will make you heart beat fast and a game of endless opportunities and the first ever virtual reality game. He decides what to do next and ready to leave. He is going to his own house after thanking his mom for delicious food. He is 10 years back in past when the Galaxy M24 app was the best capsule in his life's toughest time. His father was bedridden and he had to do many jobs to survive. He couldn't bear the burden and cuts all the ties with his family and escape into the game. He remembers all this from his previous life. Suddenly he gets a notification from the game stating that the system is activated. Countdown is started and he received a time limit from system to log in. If he does not log in the given time he will die. Now he hears a voice in his head causing a sharp pain and he is sure that he heard this voice before, which sends chills to his body. He arrives to virtual reality electronics store with pale face and in weak state he asks for a capsule to log in the game. But all the capsule are sold on reservation-based service. She advises him to take one of the customized examination. But he is so desperate for capsule and wants to get one even if it is not discounted. Hearing this she offers him a refurbished capsule which was used in demonstration process. He is ready to take it and gives her the card to make payment. He used all his money in the process, but it doesn't matter to him and certain about it now. Coming back in the past, and the voice he is hearing in his head, it is Demon Lord Abraxas. Strangely, he is hearing his voice even he is not in game, and he starts the game once again, but at same time in San Francisco, California, where Evertail's headquarters is located. In top secret department, operator Chloe is worried as she receives bunch of the warning from system. She announces it is a code black emergency to all the employees of Oracle system. No one knows what is going on, so she calls the team leader, and head of Oracle comes running as he is running a marathon. It is just started and no one knows the reason for this, not even the head of Oracle. If this continues, they might lose all the controls to mainstream. The Akashic record is hyper AI that created the game in an unknown territory that yet to be explored is being watched by the Oracle. But if something goes wrong, they will lose the system, and of course the game will be closed. They are slowly losing the control over the mainstream and gets bunch of notifications from the system. He advises to give up the control over the mainstream. With this they cannot lose all rights of the game. He gives up the control and the Akashic record pauses the blocking protocol, and with this the mainstream protocol activates. Now the mainstream is back. Our hero wakes up in the game and he remembers 10 years of playing the game. And also the traitor who was plotting from the start against him. He is going to find Jung Yuman and then make sure he will regret forever playing this game again. But now he is in the starting stage of the game and receives notification confirming his login. The test has started and receives the conditions for it. If he does not log in game within 168 hours, he'll die. If his character dies in game, he'll die, and if he does not complete the task in given time, he will die. We can hear he is screaming, "What the F is this? I am afraid he is going to die," with emotional damage. His final goal is Renwed to Demon King's descent in given time, and it feels like this game has affected his real body too. He receives a new class on the condition of the final goal and given the Witch Doctor class. Witch Doctor class is known for their primitive powers, who uses ancient sorcery and curses. They are the being who are closest to death. Their identities are hidden and they believes in salvation through death. But to him all the stats are trashy and his subclass special attack is poison. He thinks even this is a hidden class, it does not suit him. Now the system consider this as a crime and he receives penalty for cursing his own class. His alignment goes further down, which is already to the bottom. That is only possible if he had killed billion people. As a penalty he receives multiple debuffs, but one penalty is that he will get attacked by NPCs. This penalty is already telling him to be the Demon Lord. He got this second chance, but basically his life is at stake at this moment. He needs to cover his face to walk freely in the village, and to get a quest he goes to village head Elmore. Village head welcomes new adventurer who arrived in this world but freezes to see a half-naked man with paper bag on his head. Elmore forgets his typical role of NPC and asks the adventurer why the hell he is wearing paper bag on his head. To which he says it's cool. The old man does not have anything in response. He could have said something else. If it wasn't for the compulsory quest he wouldn't need to use the paper bag. Well, the old man respect his tates, but more importantly he need a quest. He assigns quest from village head to catch 10 chicks from island. Chicks are responsible for eating all the feed, so he goes behind the village to get rid of chicks in the island, finds the first target using needle he kills first. But he forgot one thing, that he has only 1 HP. Due to this he is struggling to use his weapon. This is a tutorial type quest and upon completion he can obtain Elmore's recommendation. Right now he can only use one skill, which is shooting poisonous needles. Now he knows how to use the weapon properly and ready to hunt. We are shown Yushin Group's building. Jung Yuman is happy to receive massive response to the game. They think current status of VR gaming is about to change. He gets a call from the director who informs him that he made all the preparation and is able to find most suitable class for him. The fastest way for level up in every type of items and equipments, he prepared all of them. Now it's time for him to turn this game around. Jung Yuman is 4th grandson of the Yushin Group's president and he is the pro gamer with nickname King Arthur. In short, he is preparing to rule this game, and here our protagonist is finally able to catch all the chicks. After completing the quest he gets a level up, even though his level is just up by 1, but to him it is as he reached 100 level. He obtained 5 stats points by completing the quest, which is amazing. Usually after leveling up you get 2 stats points. If you get 3 points then either you have op class or your character is amazing. Because of the hidden class he was able to obtain 5 points, which he thinks pretty amazing. He is sure now he will be much stronger than before and can't wait for his revenge. Now he is being chased by group of hens and villagers are sure at this rate he is going to die soon. But if you want to clear Elmore's quest on chicks, hen and roosters quickly, gathering a mob of them is a easy way to do it. He lures the chick into a hole. Using his only skill he turns them into his XP, and with this he reaches to level 9 and only 1 level more to acquire a skill. He gets confused when he receives 1 XP for participating in the battle. Someone is hunting his gathering and for this he is receiving only 1 XP point. They seems to be enjoying the hunting, not aware that this belongs to our hero. After noticing our hero's presence the player turns back to receive a punch in his face. With 1 hit he is unconscious for 5 seconds and he wants them to return his stolen XP. Now he advises them to spit out the stuff they have eaten which belongs to him. They calls him a liar, even there is a clear evidence they sure want to die, but he gives them a final chance. The player wakes up and tries to attack with sword, but receives crushing blow to the head. Now they all charges to attack on him but he deals with them easily. One of team member gets a brutal hit on his head and dies. They are thinking perhaps this player is chaotic user. Inside the game chaotic players are specializes in player killing and are equivalent to criminals. Using poisonous needles he kills them in an instant, but one is hiding somewhere and he desperately wants to log out from game but it is not allowed during active battle. He greets him raising his weapon to attack and kills the last player of the party. He acquires bunch of yellow feathers and white feathers along with 47 basic HP points from party, and with this he reaches to 10th level. Now he may use his other skills. He receives the penalty for killing players and his alignment falls to the rock bottom, but most importantly drop rates of items from player killing is 500% and same for the gold. Additionally automatic possession of assets and XP at this point, this is like cheating. But he does not care and from here on he is looking forward to level up. Later on he goes to the store to buy food and greets Hung and starts buying. He is taking so much food which surprises his friend and he is about pay, but his friend refuses to take money and says. The youngest player Jung Yuman is retiring from current game and he is no longer interested in basic game which requires a keyboard and mouse. The next game that he has selected is currently popular virtual reality game. Now he starts hunting monsters to level up and upon reaching level 15 he receives final quest on this island which is to hunt a wild boar. If he completes this quest he can acquire Elmore's recommendation. The only problem is wild boar migrates frequently, that makes hard to locate them, but luckily he finds one. This is an elite monster of level 30. With his current level he might die if he get a direct hit from the monster. The current monster types that exist in game are categorized as normal, elite, named and champion. There are 8 subclass in each and he needs to find out his characteristics to defeat the monster. He uses corruption elixir which shows it doesn't have physical immunity. With multiple attacks he is unable to find out his characteristics, and now the wild monster in rage cheese him to attack with all his might. Boar creates a wall in front of our hero and reveals his characteristics, which is wall formation. Now he cannot dodge this attack and receives direct hit. His paper box flies in the air leaving blood on the ground, but somehow he is fine and he is eliminating red aura. His appearance completely changes like a demon. This is due to one of his skills, zombification, which is activated when his HP reaches to 0 and transform him into undead for 600 seconds. He is almost dead due to this pig which enrages him. Now he attacks the monster with multiple punch while eliminating plague aura which cause the monster to bleed. With his skill plague aura he delivers the final blow and finishes the monster. He gains lots of XP for defeating monster and reaches to 16 level. Now the zombification skill has ended and he is back to normal. For defeating the boar he obtains wild boar's fangs. Boar's hide 30,000 gold along with solo clearance title. He was about to check out his loot, but suddenly hears a voice from behind and he was approached by an old man. All the information about him is hidden at this moment. An old man wants to know how he was able to move as undead despite being an outsider. But somehow he knows more than that. He knows he was using the power of darkness and can become undead momentarily. Now the system reveals his information about him. He is the representative of Forgotten God Shaka and chief of Black Cult. According to the system, this old man is short-tempered and system warns him to not get killed by him, but he ignores the warning and says does he belongs to a pseudo-cult. Old man gets extremely angry and attacks him, which he barely manages to avoid. He was successful in avoiding his death with a destructive punch. Chief leader is impressed to see he can dodge his attacks and wants to see how much he can avoid. Now he gets a mainstream quest to survive his attacks, and this quest cannot be deserted, but mainstream quests are given to very few players and these quests decides the future of the game. As he was wondering how this old man is connected to mainstream, he charges towards him to attack. Previously, when he was a battle god, his mainstream quest was to defeat the demon lord Abraxas, but as per system his mainstream quest now is to survive this old man. He decides to clear the quest as there is no other option and uses his bloody impulse skill and leaves everything to his basic impulses. But he receives a destructive punch for looking down on him, and now using zombification he manages to survive. Now he is using zombification mode for avoiding his attacks and he is able to read all his movements. He tries to maintain distance from Oldman to survive, but Oldman is determined to kill him and uses a wave attack which he learns from Master Roshi from Dragon Ball. He receives full-on direct hit, but due to the skill he was fine, which impresses the chief. He was successful to clear the mainstream quest and gets recognized by the cult's chief. Now he reveals about him that he is a chief priest of 7th god Shaka, the Lord of Darkness in Apocalypse and considered as best among the all gods. He was only aware about 6 gods from his previous experience, but there is no way that system will lie. After causing all the trouble, Oldman is ready to address the main point and he offers him to be his disciple, but our hero decides to leave, not believing all this. But Chief has a method to make him believe and offer him the relic to have a look. This is a divine object and the only tool which will allow him to meet the Lord Shaka. As he was about to take a look, the old man suddenly attacks him on the head. He wakes up in strange cave and system informs him that this is a new location. Looks like the old man sent him to the underworld to meet his god. The Lord of Darkness in Apocalypse appears in Kid's body and dancing around him in excitement. According to him, he has a familiar smell and wants him to be his friend. God introduces him with lots of his friends and wants him to be his friend. Our hero accepts his proposal and now they becomes friend. After becoming friends, God sends him back and he wakes up near the chief. He was angry on him for attacking suddenly from behind, but gets attacked once again and faints. Now after waking up he is ready to talk in calmly manner. He tells him about his encounter with God of Darkness and now they are friends. According to Chief, the god wants him to be his successor. Damien was about to explain that this is not connected at all, but gets a notification from system that mainstream quest encounter with God is completed and he accepts to be his disciple. Now Chief tells him a story about the Lord of Darkness, and according to him there were 7 gods in the land. Thanks to the God of Light and God of Darkness, the circle of life was well balanced, but one day, fearing the power of God Shaka, she conspires with other god to restrict his powers. But in reality they wanted to obtain his powers, which leads to the war between gods. Even he was a god of Apocalypse, he cannot face them at once and gets defeated and left everything else to his family and fell into eternal slumber. This is how the 7th god is forgotten, but in absence of the Lord of Darkness, monsters started to appear and the world is overcome by the evil. Due to his absence, the balance of the world is shaken, and for thousands of years Oldman roamed the continent for the resurrection of the only god he serves and to find a force powerful enough to defeat Arya and 5 gods. He thinks that with the appearance of Damien his search has come to an end and asks him to do it. Suddenly he gets a notification whether he wants to accept this quest or not. Oldman wants him to defeat all the gods and resurrect 7th god Shaka. He thinks King Arthur belongs to Arya family and this will be his chance to get revenge. Damien accepts the quest and receives the title Agent of Revenge. With this the Oldman takes his leave, advising not look for him and left the relic in his possession. Now he receives the mainstream quest to resurrect the god of Apocalypse and defeat remaining 6 gods. He screams out loud how the hell he is going to achieve all of this alone.